Are we up? Let's see. Mic on. We're up and running. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. One more block, one more color block. Running along. This should be it, I think. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be the last one or not. I'm not sure what to do about the center of the flowers, but we'll see. So we got the suspects this morning. I couldn't put the camera the other way because the sun is shining directly down the street. I mean, if you'll see people walk, you'll see them. They're shielding their eyes from the sun. The camera would have been looking straight into the sun. Now, we don't have our floating post today because of the way the shadows work, but can't be helped. This is going to be the block for the background area behind her, the gradation which will show behind the flowers. So we need to have the flowers chopped out of it. So I just printed them just a few minutes ago. This is the flower shapes that you saw me carving yesterday. So I printed it onto this sheet so that we can get the proper information. And we need to know the top border, and we need to know the two side borders, so they're just measured. The size of the print is determined. Looks like a quiet Saturday morning out there. It's a quiet morning out there, but it won't be so quiet this evening. It's a key rugby game tonight. The Rugby World Cup is on here. I myself don't know too much about it, but since that last game a week or so ago when Japan beat Ireland, the country has gone nuts about this, so they will be watching this evening, everybody. So all the bars, everything's going to be packed here tonight, totally packed. Okay, so there's our borderline, and this is for the block for the background area. If you see the original Meiji era print, there was a tint in the background. There was a tint in the background that surrounded the flowers. And it's, when my reproduction, it was a bit more clear. And this is difficult to do because, for one thing, the flower edges are not defined. And the second is the flowers have their own gradations. So in an area like this, for example, the flower is darker than the background. But in an area like this, the background is darker than the flower. So does the shape of the background define the flower shapes, or do the shape of the flowers define the flower shapes? Both things are true. This is a very complex print, actually, when you get down into details. So what I've done is I finished printing the flowers, finished carving the flowers yesterday, so we've printed them out here. But I have to keep in mind now as we go through this what we're doing. So in an area like this, for example, the background is going to be quite dark. So we will have to have a good edge on the background because the flowers may be light. So I have to do a zigzag edge in the background that will define the flowers. But out here, the background is going to be much lighter, almost invisible, and it's the flowers that will define the edges here. Let's get a piece of wood. Go for it. Nothing behind her Ehad. There's a tint behind here. So the block I'm carving now will go behind here. So the printers will do a gradation here and then up on this corner as well. There's nothing down here. This is cut away. unbearable on my box. Chonsant dropped my box on the floor the other day and now I can't find anything in here anywhere. Paper's out, yes. Paper is out, paper is out. My mother's in and my mother's out. Off to the pub with Sherry. Is that what she's going to drink there? Sherry's my sister's name, just so. Off to the pub Friday night. Are they going to watch the rugby? They should get to the pub and ask the guy to turn the TV screen to this screen. Friday night pub in Vancouver watching this, yeah. Talk about a raid. Oops, too much, too much, too much. There's the taxi outside. That's one of Tokyo's new taxis. They're made by Toyota and they're sort of semi-modeled on the London taxis. Sort of. And the idea that there's a big, huge back that you get into. You can get in there with suitcases, backpacks, whatever. The automatic door, of course, you saw just now. The driver opened the automatic door. I think he's getting ready. There's a hotel across the street, so he's getting ready to pick up somebody else. They probably called for a taxi at 8:15 or something. Maybe an airport trip, presumably. People are finishing. It's a hotel across the street, so. the question, the giclée, it's a French word. That's what the French use for inkjets. What Jed sells in his web shop, he calls them giclée prints. These are inkjet prints, high-end inkjet. He gets on a professional level inkjet printers. He's got Japanese washi paper, a kind of a factory-produced Japanese washi paper, and he's got the paper treated so that it goes through an inkjet printer without blurring. And they're beautiful. He does a really, really, really good job on this. He's got his color balances and the settings on the printers all perfectly worked out. And those giclée prints are really, really, really nice, and they're so cheap, like $40 or something each. I don't know what Gumpy this is. Again, it's still that batch of test gum. It might peel, might not, might be too thin. Let's have a look. I think it's the thin stuff. Maybe a semi-peel there. We're still waiting for the first Gumpy shipment to show up. You know, Cameron talked about it when he was here. This stuff peels reasonably. Look at this. Very nice. It's not strong enough to come off as a separate sheet though. But it does its job. The one I like best is that really rich, thick Gumpy where you can peel it off in one piece on the back. Taxi left just electric. Yeah, still electric cars, like something from the future. Okay, there we go. Speaking about those giclée prints, we get the experience, you know, all the time. People will come in the shop, they say, Dave, good, I've been watching YouTube videos, love it, I got a bunch of your prints. As soon as I hear the phrase, they got a bunch of my prints, I kind of know where this is going, but it's okay, whatever. So, they got them from Jed, either at a Comic Con or something, or from his website, and they're describing, you know, they're so good on my wall, they describe how big they are. And I realized they've got actually giclée prints, you know, which are inkjet prints, but these people think it's something that came from this workshop that we made here. And we've learned just not to say anything about it. I don't need to say to these people, that's not a real woodblock print, blah, blah, blah. I didn't make that, I had nothing to do with that. We just keep quiet. It's not worth, it's not worth spoiling their pleasure, you know. They've got an enjoyable design. They've got a really nice print. Jed does a good job on them. And I don't need to have everybody, no, you don't have an actual woodblock print. It doesn't matter. The people are enjoying what they've got. Some people know what the difference is, some people don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. If we use less raw material for this, it does the job. That's right. The problem with this is that I know how to handle it. It's really quite thin and difficult to handle. And even when we're spraying it and getting it laminated, it's tough to get it on there without being buckled and twisted and distorted. So it's a plus minus, you know. The thinner it gets, the more, as you're saying, resource friendly it is, but it gets pretty difficult to use. That stuff I've been using in my normal peels where you see it, it's whatever, it takes up more Gumpy, it takes more raw material, but it works and it does the job. And maybe what we should do is that sheet that I peel back, maybe the guy who makes the Gumpy paper could use it after being pulped up again. I don't know. We should maybe ask him once we get to know those people better. Right, here we go. So this is going to be the block 4, as I said, the background. So we're cutting away the woman and we're cutting away the flowers. And we'll start, as always, with an easy place so I can get used to what I'm doing, and then we'll cut towards the part that needs the careful figuring out. Because there's also parts that don't show here. For example, look at this. In front of her nose here. I don't want that the zoom correct. In front of her nose here to show. There's a little blank area here. So we're going to leave the background and cut the flowers. But what do we do with that area in front of her nose? Is that background? It turns out, no. It turns out that that's going to be covered by leaf. So this is the area that I'm quite confused here this morning. I know I leave the background out here, but what happens in here? If I make a mistake, and if I cut something off this block, and it's not on a flower, not on a leaf, then I'm going to have a big white space in the middle. That's a real typical one right there. That could really be a problem. So I'm going to hold off until I'm going to do the easy parts first, and then really sweat this one, checking the other blocks to see that I don't have any leftover spots. It's called horinuki. Carving is taken away and when you forget. Yagampi is the name of the plant. It's the actual plant. There's the three types of plant that are used for paper making here in Japan. Kozu, paper mulberry, which is the one for most of our printing paper. Mitsumata, which is made for many types of paper, but not so much in the world of printmaking. And then there's dampi, which is the wild plant, the one that can't grow in fields. Okay, let's go. Oops, I need to figure out where the camera is. Hang on a sec. I should get it fast. Okay, let's go. There's no background below the chair, so everything's above the chair. Let's cut this a bit wide. Places like this, these little openings between these flowers might be covered by a leaf, might not. So for the first step is I'm going to cut away the parts that I know for sure are gone. That's her hand, her kimono, the chrysanthemum flower. We know the background does not need to be in those locations. But how about here, under her chin? I don't know. So for the moment, as I said, she comes out, the flower comes out, the rest of it we leave for a minute. I think the background should go under this hair, because this is wispy hair and the background would normally show this part. And this will be solid black, this part here. Okay, let's do this one first. So again, we're leaving the background, cutting away the hair. What does it come to here? Oh, conversation. I missed a bunch of this. You guys are talking about paper. Okay, right. I'm asking about the mulberry fiber. There's a bunch of it upstairs from 2 years ago, or from whatever, however you describe it, last year. We had expected this last winter to be getting another batch of mulberry fiber, and it didn't come. And I contacted the guy, our agent, who'd been working with us, to talk to the mulberry people that make it, and he sort of hummed and hawed. I'm not really quite sure how it's going, and I'll let you know when it's ready and all that kind of stuff. And it never did show up, and we were a bit curious what's going on, and it wasn't a disaster to us because we're just banking it. We're not using that mulberry fiber upstairs for our daily production. We're just banking it because we know that the supply is going to get more and more difficult over the years. So we didn't get another 80 kilograms or so last year, and didn't really follow up very well on it. And I learned this last week just why we didn't get that stuff. We are really the lowest man on the totem pole when it comes time to paper fiber supply, of course. The long-term paper makers, people have been making paper all their lives. They have trade associations, they're ordering their fiber, whatever. We were able to get that a couple of years ago because there was a bunch of extra. We stepped in and picked it up. This last year, there was no extra. It turns out there wasn't even enough to go around. The reason there wasn't enough to go around, we just found this out last week. Never-ending construction. Is he going to quit or not? reason the paper wasn't enough fiber to go around last year is because the Olympic Committee took it. And this was total news to me when I found this out a few days ago. It turns out that what they have done as part of the preparations for the Olympics, they're busy building the medals. We heard about that story. To get the gold and silver for the medals, they asked people to hand in their old phones. So all the precious metals were recycled from old phones. And they had stations set up all over the country where people would throw in their old phones, and those were recycled to pick up silver and gold. And they did it. They got enough precious metals, so they say. True or not, I don't know. They say they got enough precious metals from those phones. But the Washi, what they planned on doing and what they've done is they purchased almost all of last year's top quality Kozo fiber. They took it. The Olympic Committee sent in the request. We're going to make handmade paper for the certificates. People don't just get a medal, they get some kind of certificate. I guess everybody gets a participation. Who participated in the 2020 Olympics, whatever. And all these certificates for the tens of thousands of participants are being made in Mino, on Mino gum, from the best Kozo fiber available in the country. And they took pretty much the whole crop last year, which is why we weren't able to get any of our leftovers at all. And it's a similar story to what happened during the war back in the late 1930s and in the 40s. The government had this plan to send balloons with bombs over to America, and did so. They actually killed people in America by sending these balloons. And those balloons were made from Echizen washi paper, layered up and layered up and layered up and layered up. And the total production of all of the fiber and the paper making or whatever was commandeered by the army. And Iwano-san, it would be his grandfather, no, his great-grandfather, I'm not quite sure, sorry. Iwano-san's grandfather or great-grandfather. The whole workshop was commandeered by the army. You will make this paper. And it wasn't just the workers. There wasn't enough people, so schoolgirls, high school girls and middle school girls. You can read about this story. Look it up on Wikipedia or something. There's lots and lots of documentation about it. All during the early 1940s, there was no paper available for printmaking. Not that anybody was buying wood-block prints then, anyway. Because the army took it off to make these bombs, the balloons that would carry bombs to America. It's a similar story. This year's story is not to make bombs, it's to make certificates for the Olympics. But the end result from our point of view is the same. We don't have enough fiber to make paper. So here we go. We've got a cutaway. We want to leave the background, cut away the flowers. And in this area here, both the flowers are light colored and the background's light colored. So what we want to do is we want to leave an overlap. We don't want white spaces. So the flower is going to come to somewhere around here, as you can see. I want the background to come somewhere just a bit more. So I'm going to carve a ziggy-zaggy pattern just above the flower ziggy-zaggy pattern. We're going to give them some overlap here so that we don't get any unwanted white space. In this area where it's so faint, it won't matter so much. In another area where it's darker, it'll matter a whole lot. Oh, yo. And the zigzags here don't have to match exactly, they just have to be a similar look and feel. flowers are. Better be careful. The printer's upstairs, and Susan came downstairs yesterday to ask me about this. She said, "When's the when's the chrysanthemum print ready?" And I'm like, soon. She's worried because, of course, the later I am with this, the more pressure it puts on the printers. So if we're weeks and weeks in advance, I can give them the block and say, "Okay, guys, let's schedule this. We have some weeks to work this out. How are we going to do this?" But if I'm down at the end of the deadline, if I'm running out of time, then that's it. They're going to have to just make it as fast as possible. So they really don't want to be in that situation, of course. Common sense. So they're nervous. They're nervous. They're nervous. Is that somebody going upstairs behind me, I think? It must be Susan. She must have come from the other direction, did you? You didn't see her? No floating lamp standard today, not with that sunshine on it. This print is going to be clearly, it's going to be a bestseller, there's no question about it. That's another thing that printers are nervous about. You know, we're going to open the web page and what's going to happen. Last year's print was okay, the Kingfisher. 2 years before that, the Owl print was extremely popular. But it was fairly straightforward to print. And you saw me on these streams. I ended up printing it on the stream day after day after day after day. We got a bit bored of that a couple of years ago at this time of year, October, November. And this one also is clearly going to be a strong item for us. And what the girls are mostly nervous about is the hair block. The hair, because we have this part on this block where there's a gradation around her face. And this is going to be the deal killer on this print. On a larger version of the one I just showed you, that was okay, there's room to mess around with it. But on this tiny postcard version, There's almost no room to mess around with that. And they are really, as in really nervous about how to do this. In a couple of days when we start test printing, that's going to be the one everybody's going to be focusing on. Okay, so light spot there, but that's going to be a leaf. Okay. And there's no background showing below the chair on the original print, so leave that. I should color this in. Although the coloring at this point is just to remind me, and later on when I start clearing this with the white chisels, it's really, really easy to make a mistake and take out the wrong zone. So this coloring here is to remind me when I start clearing, the other areas come out, and these pink, purple areas, these are going to stay. It's really easy to make a mistake with those big chisels. Okay, let's go. That's going to stay. Alright, so I've just got to now do the same thing, just outline all these flowers. Where should we start? Just dig in somewhere here. We don't want too much of an overlap, but if we miss any overlap at all, we get white space. Normally we would really avoid doing this, cutting the A-shape zigzag and cutting the B-shape zigzag. We don't want to do this. So what we would normally do is we'd have a lighter color. The A-shape would go under everything. The B-shape has a zigzag and it gives you your edge. But we can't do that with this one because this background block is a gradation. It's darker in some places and lighter in some places. So it doesn't provide a base. This one, as we've mentioned, what happens in front of her nose here? I think this is going to be a leaf. But it's also at the deepest part of the gradation. So I think I'll take it off this block. I don't think we want it there. The petals and leaf together should be enough at that point. But let me confirm that it is on the leaf block, because if I forgot it on the leaf block, then I'm in trouble. There it is, it's this piece here. So in front of her face, there is a leaf there. So it'll fill that shape right here. So that can come off this block. Let's just keep moving on. The gradation goes over the leaves. There's no leaves being cut off this block. The gradation goes over the leaves. And the reason that's okay is when we look at the leaves here, this is on my reproduction, you can see part of it here. The leaves and the gradation goes under the leaves. So in some places where the gradation is lighter, the leaves are a bit lighter. In some places where the gradation is a bit darker, the leaves end up being a bit darker. It's okay. If we have variation in the density and thickness of the leaves, it doesn't matter. It makes it even makes it help look a little bit more natural. So it doesn't matter. We can't put the gradation under the flowers because it's a totally different color that would show through. But the gradation doesn't show much under the leaves at all. It does show, but not much. So the leaves at the moment, I'm totally forgetting on this block. The leaves fall wherever and whenever they want to fall. It doesn't matter. So we're ignoring the leaves here. But because everything's transparent, technically it does show, but it doesn't matter. At this point, the leaves are quite a bit darker than the background gradation. So. But I have to make sure there's no areas that are missing from both. As we said, that one before her face, for example. It's going to be cut out here, and it's okay because it's on a leaf block. But if it wasn't a leaf block there, then I've got to leave it here. Details, details, details. I made one screw up last month. You saw me on the stream. I was cutting one of the extra blocks for the JJ print for October. It's already been sent to the customers now, the subscribers. But Chonsan was running out of time, so I came in and did a couple of blocks. I think I did one of them on the stream here. It was that view of a woman sweeping in front of her minshku with a cat sleeping. And at her side there was a bunch of greenery. And that took a bunch of detailed carving. And it was exactly the same thing as this. The green had to cover the background, blah, blah, blah. And I missed one. I missed two spots. And it turned out that when they did the test printing, there was two white, very visible white spots in the middle of that plant. And I had hacked away a couple of dots that shouldn't have been hacked away. So Chonsan just plugged it. He just got a piece of wood, popped it in, plugged it. It's okay. But he must have cursed me while he was doing it. You know, Dave, a bit more careful. Come on, check this more carefully. And the same thing might be the case for this print. Once we're doing a test printing, perhaps there will be a couple of white spots that I've missed somewhere. Try to be careful, but oh, 早いね、今日。はい。石川さん。She's the one who sometimes works a really late shift, comes like at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, works till after I'm in bed. Weekend, I guess. Her husband is at home today taking care of her dog, so she can come. Those guys must never see each other. When he's out of work, she has to be at home to take care of the dog, and when he's at home to do the dog, she's out to work. is a very, very, very old and very sick dog.
They also add toppings.
They also add toppings, she says. Now, here's a really dangerous one. We're in the flower, and there's this little edge, and I'm sure that should be left behind. But what else? So let's make some decisions here. The part here that you see in dirty gray, this is printed from the flower block that I just taught. So anything you see here in gray, we know is going to be on the finished print. So there's no worry about it showing up white. But what I'm worried about now is places like this little one here, this little one here, maybe that one. If they're not on the flower block and or the leaf block, then I'm in trouble. So I've got to test this, check this right now. Let's have a look at these blocks. Here's the leaf block. The zone we're talking about is this zone here. I've got those three pieces, the stem, those three pieces. It's the same orientation. There's the stem. And those three pieces, which are going to be 1, 2, 3. So they're covered. What's not covered is this piece. That's not on the leaf block and it's not on the flower block. So let's make sure we, oh wait, it could be on the flower block. Keep it the chrysanthemum block. Where's that? Here's the flower block. So those three we saw on the leaves, that's the leaf, they're gone. 1, 2, 3. This little piece here is on the flower block. That's this one. No, this is not covered. Okay, here we are. Bingo, bingo, bingo. This little place right here. It's so small I can't even draw it. That needs to be on the background block. I think that's the only one in this zone. Oh no, this one. And what about this one up here? Yep, there's another one. This one doesn't matter because it's covered by that leaf. I think. Yeah. No. Tell you what, this as an insurance, let's put this in. Even though this is covered by the leaf, let's put it in. Because I'm not sure about the end of it here. Oh, Fabiola-san, hello, hello. You're early this morning. Streaming, yes, of course. So. How's it going upstairs there? Work. This lady, man, she
When
comes
did
to
you
work
finish?
around now.
Sorry.
Huh?
When did you finish the stream? I shut my store.
Oh, okay, you want to sharpen, okay. It'll be about half an hour from now, 9:30 or so. Or do you want to just take the stone now?
No.
You can take the stone.
Oh,
Actually, I might be used. What time's it now? 9 o'clock. No, I'm okay. It's okay. Go ahead, no problem. Yo, so. She wants to sharpen her knives.
go for my needle.
She's been working long hours, you know. Late, I forget what time she left last night. I was just thinking about going to bed about 9:30 or so. I heard her footsteps come down from upstairs. For her, it's a chance, of course. No point in sitting around doing nothing. But she's in the middle of Tokyo. She could, you know, do sightseeing stuff. And her, she just wants to sit and work. I should not suppose it helps see the edge of the thing easier. Those are leaves. I've not checked those earlier. seems to be one piece stuck in the middle there. So. Coming along, you can see where we're going. Next one, get this out. We'll work our way down. Should be okay today, we've got half an hour left. I guess so. Is it the most elaborate print we've done for the gift prints? I guess so. The gift prints, you know, it's been an evolving thing. What we now call the gift prints. When I was working by myself before we had our Mocha Hong Kong venture, I never sold ever single prints. Everything was 100% just subscriptions. That's starting in 1989, and that was running for like 25 years till Ukiyo-Hiras came along, 2012 or whatever. We never ever sold single prints. So we had no gift prints. There was nothing like that in my catalog. But a lot of the prints that are now in our catalog in this category, the ones I see on the wall opposite me, there's the crane and the sunrise and stuff like that. They were prints that I made myself when I was doing subscription series. They're prints that I made myself to send to the collectors as my gift, as a New Year's card. We sent it at the end of the year. In Japan, you know, you send these, traditionally sent these New Year's cards. So a lot of what we have in our catalog now as gift prints was just simply my gift print to the people who are collecting prints. Then when the business over the years morphed after Jed came along, actually it started before Jed came along, the idea that I would open a workshop up, train people, and blah, blah, blah. And we realized at that point that we wouldn't be doing just subscriptions. We would do subscriptions, but not just. As soon as we knew we were going to have a shop, we knew, of course, we had to have single items for sale. You can't have a shop like this in Tokyo. And when people come there, I tell them, no, you can't buy just one, you have to buy 12 for a year. I mean, that's not how the world works. So even though the core business for us is subscriptions, we have single prints. And all those blocks that I carved over the years, and it was 25 years of me doing that, cutting these blocks and sending them out to people as a present. These blocks became the base for what became the gift prints in our catalog. And a bunch of them there. If you go to woodblock.com/gift, you will see last year's page where we have a selection of these prints that I originally made as New Year's cards. But it wasn't a New Year's cards in the sense of Happy New Year, this is the year of the dog, blah, blah, blah. It was just Dave found an image that he liked, made a nice, beautiful little print, and sent it out to his collectors and friends. But now that's gone. I no longer send out a personal private New Year's card. Now that we've become a company, 30 people working here, it's an enterprise. We have a company New Year card, which we do as Woodblock. And then the gift thing has morphed into an actual publication we do each year. And for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years now, we've made a print specifically for that function. And that's what you see me doing now. So some of the previous ones, yeah, they were pretty detailed. In fact, now that I think about it, Ken asked that question. I don't have a URL for you. There's a page over on my old Japanese site that shows all the New Year's cards I sent out over the year. And some of them were pretty tiny detailed. I went overboard. I was trying to show off. Look at how wonderful I can do this. Somebody else going upstairs? Or are we getting close to staff time coming in? I think we're clear. I think we've got that worked out. Mistakes or not, who knows? It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Now, next bit, last part here. That carp, I know it's being printed right now. I know Rei-chan upstairs. She's doing a batch of them. It's steady, 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 steady seller. My God, the work I did on those blocks years ago just still pays off. There's our garbage truck for the Korean hot dog place not parking in front of my place this week. I wonder why. Am I in trouble or not? You're supposed to keep quiet about these things. Now this group down here is more critical because this is where the gradation gets deeper and darker, the background gradation. In the middle here, this is where the gradation is at its deepest point. So the shape of these flowers is going to be more defined by the gradation than by the flower shapes. So what I did up here a few minutes ago, because the shape here, good morning, Watabayashi-san, because the shape here was more defined by the flowers because they were deeper. Down here, it's more defined by the gradation. So the zigzag I'm going to carve in the next couple of minutes, this is the zigzag that people will see. The zigzag that I carved up there was kind of, I don't know, it'll be buried because the yellow zigzag will be stronger. But down here, the background zigzag will be stronger. It's really a strange print, you know. More cups. What have we got happening now? Delivery? It's Oshibori delivery. He's delivering the little rolled towels. They're going to throw them in their microwave oven, ding them, and pass them out to restaurants, people in the restaurant. A little room here. So let's make a really nice zigzag here.あの10時パーティーないですね。
はい。
だから僕上でどうせやります。
はい。
このストリーム終わってから。
はい。
午後は大変。多分お昼まではお昼の間にできますから。
はい。
午前中の間にできますから。元気ですか？
元気です。デイビッドさんどうですか？大丈夫ですか？
年ですからわからない。いや、最近パーティーも多いし。昨 日の天気は結構変でした。台風にならなかったんですが、すごい風とか。
すごい風。すごい風でした。でもなんかゴミが風で飛んだのか、電車から富士山が今朝すごい綺麗に見えました。
まあ、毎年一番最後の台風の後は空がすごい綺麗になりますね。まだまだその経験がないですね。冬の青空でしょ。
なんかやっぱり東京の空って汚いんですね。
Oh, what's the language outside? Some Indonesia, I think. I'm not sure. Okay, Indonesia, Malaysia, I'm not sure. They must be waiting for the kimono rental shop to open up. There's Kawai-san coming in. Here he comes. Goom, goom, here comes Godzilla. Kawai-san, good morning.
Good morning. おはようございます。
Good timing. It's just right now. Let's go finish this corner, I think. My job now this morning is going to be sizing. I'm going to head upstairs. There's no print party scheduled at 10. They're busy this afternoon. So Kawai-san and Wadabashi-san will handle the shop by themselves this morning. Of course, they're capable of that. I'm going to head upstairs and do some sizing. In fact, this actually should have been a sizing stream this morning. That's my main job this morning. But moving all the cameras upstairs, blah, 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 blah. And then people really just want to watch me throwing glue around. That's the job for me this morning up there. I'm doing the sizing recently at least once a week now, sometimes twice a week. I do it, of course, on mornings when there's no stream. Today, could be for this morning actually. There's nobody in at 10. Is that a reservation for today? I don't see it here. No, I think the machine's just waking up to get last night's reservations, yeah. Oh, wait, there's an email. Reservation for 10:05. Look, it's there. Email came in at 7:50. Well, it's going to be late. The 4 o'clock party's going to be late. Yeah. Is there a later time? Lady, good luck. Dream on. The 4 o'clock people, they want to come late. There's somebody else in the same party, though, show. Anyway, get that. Okay, let's just get this finished. Now to confirm these last two in this corner, I'm almost sure these are leaves. Bottom of her kiln before it hits the agama, the last two are leaves. Yes, 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 there's a whole clump of leaves down there. Let's check and see if I got them. They want to postpone, there's no way they can do that. Yeah, we got a bunch of leaves down there. There they are. It's all covered by leaves. Alright, so we are good to go on this. Let's zoom out a bit here. So just to recap what we're doing here, we've colored part of this. Let's color the rest just so that we can see what's going on. This block is going to be the background block, and it will be all the way out here, and this will be included, of course. And before I get my chisel out, I will go over it carefully one more time. Some of it will be too late if I've cut away parts already, too bad, but I'll go over one more time to see that there's nothing else that I've forgotten. I think we're okay. And this will be the background block printed with a gradation coming up. You can see in the version I made years ago, it's this faint, what color can I describe it? Faint peach color, I guess. And it'll just set off the flowers nicely. So there we go. Okay, that'll be it. I am now going to head upstairs and do some sizing. This is it. This is Saturday morning. Today, when's the next stream? Should be 2 more days. I won't be here tomorrow Sunday. I'll be here Monday morning. I will be going to Ome this coming week, so that'll be Monday night through Tuesday and maybe into Wednesday. We'll see. I will be going to Ome. There's work I got to do. It might be my last trip for the year. I'm not sure. We don't know. But it will be streaming here Monday morning. What will I be doing? I'm not sure. I might be doing the last clearing on this block. It should be finished by then. I don't think we'll be test printing. I don't know. What else is on my desk to do? Get back to the octopus for a few hours, just snatch a few hours there. I don't know. No idea. Oh, I know. It'll be color separations for the Bonodori print, almost certainly. Anyway, something will be happening Monday morning. For now, I got to get out of here and get busy upstairs doing some sizing. It's been a very quiet stream today. Thanks for watching. See you in last trip to the video. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm going. I got to get a new video I want to make, and I got to get my haircut before I make the video. So. Did you see the comment on the YouTube channel a couple of days ago? Someone said, like, I forget the exact words, said, I'm 21, losing all my hair, and this guy has glorious hair. And just 67, yeah. Anyway, enough. Let's get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. See you next time.